I know what I said it, but I changed my mind. Let's get in. Hey, what up and welcome to another episode of Creased. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about everything Nike SB because it feels like they've been a little bit quiet. And if we look at the last couple of years, it definitely has been. But I think there's a reason for that. For me, I noticed and have heard things with Jordan Brand that they're going to be doing a lot less drops next year. They're going to focus on quality, but they're also going to pull back when it comes to quantity as well. So Jordan Brand being in the outlets, everything like that, it's not a great look. Sitting on shelves, going on to discount, it's not a great look. I think Nike SB has kind of got in there before this has happened, so they're not going down the same fate. Could you imagine seeing Nike SB Dunks at the outlets when for the last however many years, let's say 3 to 4, no, probably 2 to 3, they have been like at the absolute peak. You think about the Orange Lobsters, you think about the Born and Raised, the Futuras, everything like that has essentially sold out. I went to Fast Times recently and they had a bunch of SB Dunks on the shelf. Now, I don't know about sizes. I want to say the Their pair was a raffle win that just didn't happen. So, they got extras there, but they got the PS8s there in the electric pack, and a bunch of stuff where, go back a couple of years ago, even the GR stuff was selling out and being resold. These are all good things for your average skater, for your average sneaker collector, like myself. Fall into both categories, right? But even in terms of pairs that they've released, if you look at last year, they dropped so many. This year, if you look at what they've dropped, there hasn't been that many even drops, let alone if they're doing more pairs of each drop. I'm not too sure. Exact numbers are pretty hard to come by, but it does seem like they're pulling the reins up before that oversaturation happens, like it did with Jordan and certain Nike products, right? But it'd be a pretty boring video if that's all we did. So there was a purchase recently, and it's on brand. It's Nike SB. Let's get into that. Crazy to me that I can never find a knife when I have so many goddamn knives, but I can't ever find the knife. But Nike SB, very new box. I may have put the title in it. I may have given you a hint. I don't know. Let's get into it. These have been sitting here for a couple of days. I want to say this is the quickest I've had something come from the Nike app in a long time. I want to say Fast Times were talking about their raffles for these, and then some dude was like, yo, they're sitting on Nike, and I just went bang, and I had to cop. So, let's double check where they came from. They must have been like Singapore or something. US direct e-commerce, Singapore. I knew it. What's it gonna be? Yeah, these are really nice in hand. And we got a sticker. Kind of looks like I'm authenticating them, but they've come directly from Nike, so there's nothing to worry about. I'm just looking them over, checking them over. It's a bit of a mark there, although it's come off, is it? Toe box isn't great. See, these, now that I'm on my skateboard again, maybe I just skate them. I really like the contrast between the orange and the blue. I think that looks incredible. What are you guys saying? I think it's great that as much as they haven't done as many SBs this year, they've been easy to cop. Except for the Futuras. Yeah. I'm a fan of these. It feels like the tongue is weird though. Just feels like there isn't as much cushion in the tongue. I don't know. It's a weird material too. Maybe I'll grab another SB for a second. These are my go-to. These are what I've been skating. As you can see, the tear. There's marks all over them. Yeah, it definitely is like a different material. And a different like foam inside of it. This is like quite spongy. It just doesn't feel like there's as much in there, plus it's a bit stiffer, but I don't know. Nike SBs aren't the most comfortable anyway. We got extra laces, the black. I want to say I saw GR King, Micah, he changed them out for the black. Always like it when there's like an Easter egg there, no Easter egg. But I suppose this isn't a collab or anything, this was like a pack where Nike essentially did 55 different silhouettes with the same colorway. Is it a bit of overkill? Does it get a bit whitewashed? People maybe miss out on certain things, maybe. But for me, this is one of the standouts for sure. Yeah, the contrast, the safari print, like, it's obviously not Atmos, but gives it that type of feel. I really like these. They grew on me. Initially, when I saw them, I was like, I don't really need them, I don't, whatever. I feel like two things have happened. So many pairs have come and gone that I'm not that interested in, and I've got a little bit itchy, but the other part of it is skating again. It's not a bad idea having more SBs. I'm gonna tear through them eventually. Not that I'm gonna skate these, I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but these are growing on me. The contrast between the blue and the orange is so dope. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of these, and look, I want to say they're probably still on Nike right now. Let's have a quick look. I want to say, so here in Australia, we don't have the sneakers app. We essentially have nike.com/au/launch. In stock, still in stock, right up to men's 10.5, which is my size. That's what these are, 10.5. So, I'm not mad at that. I've actually been using these foam type insoles in my SBs when I'm skating, just to give myself that little bit more cushioning. Even though I'm not going crazy jumping off stairs or anything these days, but you never know, we might get there. But the old joints and knees and everything need that. Yeah, you can see wear all along there. I want to say, yeah, that's what I would be kicking with. So that's the one that's copping the most damage. Lace is starting to fray as well. I can't do that to these, can I? Man. Last year had so many more SBs, and it felt like every pair was so hard to come across. This year, there hasn't been nearly as many, and most of them have been attainable. I want to say Futurers are number 1. I'd say Big Money Savings are number 2. I'd say either these or the Their pair. See what I did there? Would be number 3. I really like the triple whites. I came close to buying them, but I'm like, something about like that old school feeling of just having a crispy pair of white sneakers makes me want them. But maybe I just want like something more, like a gum rubber sole. But then I've got the white SBs with the gum rubber sole anyway. But these are dope. In my opinion, it's like a wallet-friendly Atmos, essentially. In the 55 pack, I want to say these, the Problem Solver 8s, and maybe the DN. That's kind of all I was feeling with it, but I'm glad I got these. I'm glad they're attainable. Shout outs to homie that told me they were just sitting on Nike. There's a lot of the times, because we don't have that sneakers app, and it feels like some absolute shenanigans go down on the launches or sneakers part of Nike. I don't bother. I don't even look at it. I do look at it just to see things that are coming, but I don't bother with it. I'm so glad I did for these. I think I might put these on feet tomorrow. I think the sun's meant to come out tomorrow. I'll put these on feet. We'll get some shots. Why not? These are dope. Well, let's wrap it up. So I actually ended up wearing this shoe for almost a week, and you know, a bit of a wear test, you might say. And I gotta say, a couple little dirt marks there. I notice, you can tell, like I've definitely worn this, but I gotta say, very comfortable in terms of the recent batch of SB Dunks. I don't know what it is. It just feels like it's more supportive around here. This is obviously a lot thinner than a bunch of others, but you know, no real creasing or anything, so the quality of materials is holding up. I'd say the swoosh, the tick, is probably the only thing where it's, you know, fairly basic materials. Everything else is quite nice. It's not on a level of like certain Saucony or New Balance suedes and leathers, but not bad. No creasing, even though this is creased heat. But yeah, it's an interesting time for SBs. I think it seems like that's the plan, is to cut it off before it gets oversaturated. I almost feel like there hasn't been enough releases, and when things come along, maybe it is a little bit more special. But the Big Moneys, the Futurers, these, the Their pair, I know they're doing an anti-hero high, and I hate Nike SB Dunk highs, but that pair I might get into. I don't know. Anti-hero, I've got such a crazy history within skateboarding. When you go back to like the original days and everything like that, like it's gonna be hard to not cop. I would love it if they got Andy Roy in for the promotion of it, but I know he's not on the team anymore. But when you think of anti-hero, that's the era I think of. But anyway, these right here, from what I'm seeing, I think there's a couple places where you can just walk in and get them on shelves. If you're watching this in America or the UK, I seem to be doing like numbers in America at the moment. In America, I don't think it's going to be tough to cop these. It wasn't tough to cop these here. They're still on the Nike website. Most sizes, I think up to 10.5. So then like in America, the allocation is going to be crazier. You'll be able to get them too. If you want these, I think you should be able to get them. Get them in hand, man. If you're a fan of like Atmos and the Safari prints, like you can't go past these. And I think it's going to be one that we look back in years to come and say, this was a classic. Maybe it got a little bit oversaturated with the electric pack being 55 pairs dropped at the same time. But definitely a future classic. But this has been another episode of Creased. Let me know in the comments. What are you thinking? Are we not doing enough for SB? Are you over SB? Like, let me know in the comments. We'll discuss it. We'll be back with new videos every week. Peace. Yeah. My Bulldogs are killing it right now. I had to get that out. 30-10 on the weekend. With the Warriors coming up. And everyone's talking about top 4, but I looked at it in top 5. If we're top 5, we play the Dragons. Already flogged them twice. Then we play Cronulla the next week. Then whoever's in the grand final. It's not looking too bad for us right there. If you've stayed to the end and you are not from Australia, if you're not from New South Wales or Queensland, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But go look up rugby league. It is the most insane sport. No pads and we run into each other 100 miles an hour. That's enough.